It's something different if you do. Oh, yes, I see the clock now. So, okay. Oh, we're on live. It says live. Hey, good afternoon, my dear. Welcome to Touch Our Interviews. I'm so glad to have you on for doing this podcast with me. How's your day so far?
Well, I got about 3 hours of sleep last night.
Why is
So,
that?
I don't know. I went to bed normal time and I had a really nice deep sleep. And I woke up around, oh, I don't know, midnight or so. And I was like, okay, I'll just go back to sleep. And
Okay.
one thing led to another. And my body rested. I meditated. I listened to music. And I just couldn't get back to sleep. So there's really a really strong connection with my body and mind, and I can rest my mind and my body rest, and I'm not tossing or turning anything, but
Yeah.
without dreaming, without that
Really?
wonderful period of dreams, I just feel different. I just feel kind of dragged down a little bit.
Is
So,
that right? Is it because let
yeah.
me see, when is the full moon coming up? Next weekend? Is it next
Mhm.
weekend the
It's
full
next
moon is coming up?
weekend.
It
Mhm.
could be the what do you call that? The vortex. You never know.
Mhm.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes it's so strong it really affects me as well, physically, mentally, and everything else. I can feel the difference.
Isn't it true?
Yeah,
I really
the
love the way that
vibration,
our bodies react to the moon and,
the phase of the
yeah,
moon.
it's
Yes,
really
yes, it
beautiful.
does. It does. So
My
tell us. Oh,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say my next guest on my Psychic Playdate podcast will be Dr. Scott Sparrow, who's a dream
Awesome.
expert.
Is
So
that
we'll
right?
be
That will be next this
next
afternoon or
Thursday. No, today we
oh,
had a spirit guide guest,
oh,
Jamil
all right.
Jimunja. And next week's Dr. Scott Sparrow, so it'll be all
Sounds
about
exciting.
dreams. Yeah, and the
All
full
about
moon.
dreams. It's so funny talking about dreams. I just told my husband this morning, I have a kind of funny dream. This is the first time. It's somehow I dream of like number 16, and there was packs, blocks. I'm talking about blocks of money that people wrap it up, and was found 16 blocks of those money. And then I woke up. What is this telling me? The number 16 and this block of money that we found. That
Hmm.
is weird. I never had this kind of dream before.
Well, you should be aware then of the number 16 in your waking life and let yourself be guided by it. I had a vision of walking down the street and finding
Hmm.
a $20 bill. And a few weeks later, I decided to take a walk and not go my usual route and just let myself be guided. And sure enough, I found a $20 bill on the sidewalk.
Wow.
And
Well,
I
we'll
I
see.
picked it
Yeah,
up and
we'll
was like,
see.
"Okay, this is great. I'm gonna take it right to the farmer's market and give it to
And
somebody who who
yeah,
is
pass
working
along.
hard to create wonderful food for people."
Sure, sure. Well, so tell us how, when you get into the psychic medium art. It's so interesting because I did, uh, which I myself do a lot of drawing and tap into the energy of the loved ones or the auras. It is so interesting. It is
Mhm.
mind blowing sometimes how our hand can just let it flow and let it take it away.
Well, I was born into an artistic family. My
Okay.
family consisted of a mother who was a pianist and a father who was a painter and graphic artist. And my older sister taught me how to draw when I was about 6. Whoops, you dropped
Hmm.
something.
Yep, I drug a little stone on the floor. That's okay.
When I was about 6, my older sister taught me how to draw faces
Mm.
because that's what I wanted to do. I kept seeing faces in my mind's eye, not of
Man.
anybody I recognized. I just had to draw them. And so she taught me how to draw the face of a girl. And from that, I just copied it and copied it and copied it and was able to make variations and was able to draw very quickly and capture emotion, which I thought was very
Oh.
important for getting the essence of somebody. Even at the age of
Hmm.
6,
Hmm.
I was like, I got to get the emotion right. And I was using drawing to center myself. We moved a lot. And as a young child, as a 7, 8-year-old child moving to different places, I used
Wow.
drawing as a way to center myself in new environments. And I would draw in class all the time. And a teacher,
Oh,
of course, would my hair would be covering the picture, and I'd be drawing a face, and I'd be drawing faces and pages after pages of faces, and the teacher would sometimes come over and say, "Hey, that looks like somebody I know. That looks like my grandmother."
wow.
And,
That's
it was just a coincidence, obviously,
right.
until I studied mediumship and
Mm-hmm.
realized that there is such a thing as spirit art. And the
True.
faces I felt compelled to draw were faces of people in spirit. And I knew that because when I took my first online spirit art class, we were told, we meditated and we were told, hey, just draw what comes to you. My hand was guided to draw the face of a young boy,
Right.
and I got information about him. And I was like, oh, whatever, I'll just put it out there. And somebody raised their hand and said, I understand this completely. I know who this
Wow.
is. And I had his name and I had his age and relationship. And that opened my eyes really to what we are capable of.
Of course. Of course, it's
Everyone
mind
is
blowing.
capable.
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't have to be a good artist. I was never classically trained
Me
as an
either.
artist. Right.
Me
You just
neither.
have
Yeah.
you just have the intuition. You just have the desire and the motivation to let your hand be guided on the page. And
Exactly.
and when you
Yes.
get the information, that is when you can say, "Hey, this is not just a random face. I'm getting information about this person who was once alive, and this resonates with somebody. They can understand this. This is amazing."
Right.
And so I
Yeah.
began studying that, and I began doing psychic readings. I decided that I would do an experiment called The Colors of Your Question, where
Hmm.
a person would think of a life question that I would not know. And while they were thinking of the question, they would pick 3 colors from a list I send them. And then they'd send me the colors. And from just those colors, I would intuit the past, present, and potential future of
Of
their
course.
question. And I would make
Yes.
collages and do things like that. And, sure enough, people would be like, wow, this reading and this work of art really resonate with me. And the reason why I started doing that was because in college, in the
Mm-hmm.
1980s, I started doing collage greeting cards for friends and people I knew, and they would get a card and they would say, "Wow, this hey, how did you know I was thinking about going to Hawaii?" Because 'Cause I'd flip through magazines and I'd be guided to pictures, certain pictures that I
Wow.
felt they would love, and that is how I decided, well, there's something here, there's something to this,
To
and
explore. Mm-hmm.
something to explore, and
Mm-hmm.
now I do what's called a photo transfer reading, because as a psychic artist, I would, sit and draw people, whoever came up, whoever guided my hand,
Sure.
and a lot of times it wouldn't be somebody they would necessarily understand. It might be sometimes a guide, or it might be somebody who's not really related to them distantly. For
Mm-hmm.
instance, one
Mm-hmm.
time I drew a woman, and it was a very quirky looking face. And this was in a class where I presented it. I took a photograph of it, sent it to the teacher. She posted it online. And somebody said that I know, she like gasped, said, "This looks exactly like this woman." And I got the name
Wow.
Mrs. Painter, and her name was Mrs.
You got the
Painter.
name
Yeah,
too?
and I said,
Wow.
and I'm getting her first name was Beth. She goes, "Oh, we didn't know her by her first name. We don't know her first name. She
Mm-hmm.
was just Mrs. Painter to everybody." And she wasn't really somebody she knew, but there was an experience, an exchange of energy between this woman and Mrs. Painter that meant so much to Mrs. Painter that she came in and wanted to give her gratitude to that person through
Oh,
me,
so sweet.
through the art. And so
That's
there you go.
awesome.
And so now I'm like, okay, well, a lot of people just want to hear from a certain person in spirit, or they want to have a psychic reading. So I ask people to send me a photo that is very energetic and very energetically charged of a certain
To
person in
read
spirit.
through. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I use that photograph, and instead of asking people to pick colors. My pendulum now picks the colors because people were picking their favorite colors, and I wasn't sure that, really was the color that this picture
I
needed.
remember a few years ago when we first met
Mhm.
online. You did draw something for me and asked me to pick colors. I
Right.
remember
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah, and I
yeah.
was doing that. Now I'm letting my pendulum pick the colors, and
Mm-hmm.
the pendulum will pick very significant colors, interestingly, that not
Wow.
the recipient probably wouldn't pick, but they were
Mm-hmm.
necessary for the communication. And so I'd paint something, and then after the paint's dry, I take the photocopy of the picture they send me, apply gesso to it, press it onto the paper, and then peel away the layers of the paper so a reverse image is on the painting. And that is part of the reading. When I do the painting, when I peel away the paper, when I dream at night, I get information about that communicator.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm able to write up all this information for the recipient. And they also get
Yeah,
a work of art.
yeah. 2 weeks ago, I received a card that you personally sent to me and draw it out. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Let me tell you, I honestly pick up the card and try to figure it out, and I turn upside down and see how the heck you do that. Yeah, that's
And
amazing.
And I have really very little memory of what is created. So I
Yes,
can't remember what I did for you, Virginia. I'm sorry. I
that's
make a
fine.
thank you
That's
card for
fine.
everybody who comes to my show, and
Mm-hmm.
I create it in the moment, and then I send it out, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't remember, but that's the whole idea, that it resonates with you. It's not for me.
Right. Very personal color and the graphic and everything is very personal. It's just like when I'm drawing, for example, I have this right here beside me that I draw a couple of months ago. I believe it was the middle of the night. I couldn't sleep and I wake up. Do you ask me if you somebody asked me, okay, I'm gonna pay you to draw the same exactly thing. Can I do it? I can tell you, I don't think I can do it because it's all in my subconscious. When I woke up in the middle of the night and I just let my hand and the colors that I pick and go from there. I
Well,
do
that's
not
so
remember
pretty.
how or what.
I love the colors
Hmm.
that you chose, or your hand chose. So
Yeah, yeah,
your guides
yeah,
chose. Do you feel like
yeah.
you're guided when you're creating art?
Yes, definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah, once I sat down, like I say, if let's say Ming or you, whoever asked me, hey, Virginia, draw me something. Well, I only can say I can try, but if I can, I can.
Mhm, mhm.
That's how
Who
I,
knows who knows what comes up, and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
a lot of times it's a surprise. It's a surprise to the sitter, it's a surprise to me. I don't know.
Exactly. That's phenomenal. For example, just last night I have my online class. Now I'm picking up another level of knowing, doing psychic detective.
Oh, good.
With yes, with this one of the top psychic detective, and she live in California. She worked with FBI and many law enforcement. You know, to locate killer, bad people, missing, especially missing people, missing person, I would say.
Mhm,
Last night, we do this practice. Actually, she sent me homework, my assignment before the class start. So all I have is a picture. Okay, I know nothing. She want us to describe the crime scene and who is the killer, how the killer look like. She know who it is because it's on the news.
mhm.
Um, I scratch it out. I draw that perp, that what they call, and the skin tone and everything else. And I describe the crime scene on my report and send it to her. That's part of my homework. Last night we went through it for the feedback. I was mind blown myself. No doubt I had ever take remote viewing. It's just something similar but not exactly the same because with my subconscious, you can say is a projection that I'm out of my body to see the crime scene. So I did describe the crime scene that was a fight and turned into a horrified scene, and how the killer looked like and what had happened.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's very interesting. It's
Yeah,
can't stop learning.
that's wonderful work. I hopefully you'll be able to help a lot of people.
Um, Looking forward for that. Yeah, it's gonna take a lot of practice and practice and practice. Yes, maybe one day I will say, "Hey, come on, girl, um, give me something that you know of the crime. I mean, on the news, and I didn't know anything about it, and I can do a lot of practice as well." Yeah.
Mhm. Good. That's
Yeah,
good. Excellent.
missing person. Twice I hit right on spot. Oh, one of that was last week. My assignment is a missing person. They just found her remains last weekend.
Mm.
Yeah, I did see the scene and everything. I describe it, so I get the feedback. I know I'm doing the right thing. That's how we learn.
Mhm. Are you remote viewing that, Virginia?
Uh, Not using a remote viewing method.
Okay.
A remote viewing that I have been to, Ryan Research, is different step protocol you have to follow,
Yes, right. Mhm.
which the CIA using it for many years ago, the
Mhm.
military and everything else. Well, those are top secret stuff. We don't have to talk about that. Um, yeah, there's a protocol. It's different level and different step. You have to follow the protocol to do the right thing. So doing a psychic detective work is, you can pick a little bit here and there to put it together to work it out on a piece blank of paper. That's very important. Nothing. For example, like remote viewing, I was taught, was given a blank piece of paper and pen. You're not allowed to use pencil either to do the. I learned to the 6 steps of the protocol to drop down all the information, what you feel, what you smell, and what you see. Um, this instructor say the same thing doing this psychic detective thing. Use a blank piece of paper. But for her, you can use a pen or the pencil. You can draw it out. Sometimes, as you know, we doing reading and feeling it and smelling it. It's just a snapshot.
Mhm.
It's like playing so fast, and you have to catch it, and your hand just have to go and write it out or draw it out. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I took a remote viewing class, probably around 2006 with Stephen
Hmm.
Schwartz, who
Oh,
was the
okay.
teacher. He had us do an exercise where, myself and another
Hmm.
person in the class
Hmm.
had envelopes, and we took an envelope, we went
Yes.
into our car, we drove away, and sometime maybe like a mile away from the classroom where everybody else was, we opened up the envelope and got directions to a place. We drove to
Oh,
that place and got there at a certain time. And at that time, we were told to film what we were seeing. And while we were filming this, the students back in the classroom, back in the workshop area, were
hmm.
remote viewing it. So
Whoa.
we were there, and it was the Unity Church here in Austin. There's an archway, very significant building with stone walls, and we touched the walls and we filmed it, and we came back, and this was 2006. We just popped the film into the video player, and it was amazing how many people saw the archway, saw the stone
Oh,
walls, saw the building, and just,
yes.
mapped it out and everything. And it was mind-blowing
It is
how
mind blowing. Our
incredible.
mind, it's so powerful. It's so powerful. You can use it
Well,
any way, the right way.
is it
Yeah.
powerful, Virginia, or is it simply because we're sharing the same awareness?
The awareness. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Powerful
are
awareness.
tapping into that same awareness,
Yes. Yes. The
and
universe. So everything is all
right.
connected. We just
And
don't
it's
see it in
it's
our naked
something
eyes.
it's something we all can do. It's something we all can
Exactly.
share.
Yep. Yep.
It's we have this connection. And sometimes the connections are just much deeper because, my son and I share a really strong connection. I was
Oh,
driving
my
one
kids
evening
too.
and got lost and parked my car and was just frustrated. And my son texted me out of nowhere saying, "Mom, are you okay?"
Oh, okay.
And I texted back, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay now. I got lost." But, yeah, so that was, and he was in Dallas. He was miles away from where I was, and just out of nowhere, he just felt he had to check in with me.
My daughter, she is going to be 23 now. Time flies. But anyway, recently I have noticed that she tapped into her knowing at a
Mhm,
basic step. I have not
mhm,
taught her anything, but she will come and ask me or tell me certain things that she know beforehand, or she felt, or she smelled, or whatever. I say, good, good girl.
mhm.
Just tap into yourself to know your higher self.
That's
That's
so
all I
important
can.
for young women especially,
Yes,
isn't it?
yes.
To trust that.
For this generation, does she really want to hear the whole theory or lecture? Of course not. What you share with me, I can listen, and if you need my advice, of course, I will give you my advice and I give you some feedback. Yeah, it is very important to know your inner self. hmm
Mhm, mhm.
your sense, your sixth sense, like everybody else says.
And trusting is really the most important thing. When I
Yeah,
was a child drawing these faces and not getting any kind of feedback except for maybe a teacher occasionally saying, "Oh, that looks like somebody I know." It
right.
would have been so amazing for me if I had somebody who was aware of what I was doing. If there was
Yeah,
somebody who
yeah.
said, "What do you know about this person you're drawing?" And, that's interesting because I used to tell stories about people in paintings. There was,
Hmm.
the painting, there's a very famous painting called The Blue Boy. And it's a painting of this
Mm,
little aristocratic child in a blue kind of satiny outfit. And we had a picture of him in our bedroom I shared with my sisters. And I would look at that and just come up with all these stories about him, and he was a real kid, this was a
is
real
that right?
child, and I wish
Uh-huh.
I knew, but, I was just very imaginative, so there's the
Mm,
very imaginative thing, and, I just wish that I had somebody who was cognizant of what was going on, and I think
right.
who knows what I
You're
could have
right.
done with that. I would have become a medium probably a lot sooner than I did. But we're all on our paths for a reason. So,
That's right. Our journey. Yeah, our journey.
yeah,
That's
so
right.
many of us don't really unfold our development until our middle age. I was,
Well,
late 40s, early 50s when I
so
decided, I just need to do this.
yep, me the same thing. Yep, not
Mm,
too long ago, not well, it was my late 40s that I
mhm.
discover my knowing. Yep. Mm-hmm. Know
Yeah.
that we are born, every one of us, everybody is born with something special gift.
Yeah,
You
and
just
it's
have
going
to
to happen
know.
no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen, and you
Yeah.
have to allow yourself the freedom to do it. I remember the same place where I worked, where I took that remote viewing class, the owner of the holistic workshop center
Mm-hmm.
had, Asian, feng shui practitioners doing Eastern horoscopes, so
Wow.
like a Chinese horoscope, and
Mm-hmm.
they did it in such a way that just it was just incredible. They did
Mm-hmm.
it in like 7-year blocks, and at one point, they said, "You're gonna be teaching metaphysical subjects online." And I was like,
There you
"What?
go.
Huh?
Yeah.
No way am I gonna be doing that." And of course, 7 years later, there I was teaching mediumship or leading mediumship circles and
Yeah.
teaching people
Isn't it
about spirit
wonderful?
and psychic art. Yeah.
Like a few years ago, I was in Texas, been through a lot, and I just need a break and go went to Texas to see my friend, one of my childhood friend. Yeah, my best friend from school, and we still have connection. So I went to visit her, and she brought me to the soccer time in a center, and that's how I found myself because people walk up to me and tell me things that I don't even know about. They doesn't know me, I don't know them. And slowly I was so interested in it's just so interesting that how people the knowing.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's how I pick up everything to study and travel a lot with a lot of teachers and stuff. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, I'm not sure. Are you using your laptop, your computer? Because I couldn't not see any live audience online right now. Um, is that
I
anything you
don't
can?
see any. I don't see
Okay.
anything either.
Well, you when you're ready, you want to tap into somebody out there. Um,
Does your
I'm sure
cohort
he's watching.
Ming wanna
I'm sure
come
he
in?
is
Hi
somewhere.
Ming.
There he is.
Hey guys, how are you? Let me.
Hi Ming.
Yeah.
There are people watching. I think people are scared to comment, so I will volunteer myself.
Oh, don't
Um,
be shy.
I think
Come
this is
on.
amazing that
Open
we're able
up.
to do a live psychic art from great distances. I think
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
So
pretty cool.
let's work on Ming and we go from there. Hopefully, after a lot of people see the show, and next time we put up a show again like this with Marilyn, and people will be, don't be shy to join in.
Well, it is kind of personal.
Yeah.
Somebody I mean, I'm not gonna dive too personally into you, Ming. I'm so
That's
grateful for your your volunteering today, but hopefully not bring out family secrets.
right. That is invasion. Yes, invasion
Yeah,
of.
it's an invasion of privacy. And
That's my boundary. Yes.
I do readings on my podcast, Psychic Playdate, and I often worry about that kind of thing coming up. So, but I will be as discreet as possible. One of the things that I like to do, Ming, is use my pendulum to choose colors for you. So
Okay.
I just need to go grab my tools. I have them over here.
Wow, they're readily at hand. I love it. And
Oh, they
I,
were I had to move around when I realized I wasn't gonna have a green screen. And my pendulum is handmade of olive wood by Stan Slater, and it's so responsive, and it's really my friend. And I use a chart that I made. It's hard to see.
I
Look at that. I've got it.
your green screen is on,
I
so
know my green screen is because of the green that's in this picture. Isn't that crazy? So I've got a chart that I'll use to choose colors.
okay.
But while I'm choosing these colors, Ming, I want you to think of a question, a simple life question. And while you're thinking of it, I'm going to pick colors. And then I'm going to pull up the screen and do a little drawing and see what happens. Okay.
Okay.
This is just an experiment.
Okay. I
Do
definitely
you have
think
a question?
absolutely I do.
Okay, so let me ask my pendulum if I can work with you. You're saying yes. Can I? May I? Yes. Should I? Yes. Okay, we're good. Okay, so Ming, I am using my pendulum. I'm actually going to do it here so I can.
Okay.
And the first color is sky blue. Okay. And the second color. Second color is yellow, which is a nice complementary color. And the third color.
Um, Marilyn,
Uh-huh.
is it possible the screen can show how you do the pendulum? Can you adjust it? Oh,
I'm just doing
oh,
it
okay, okay.
like this. And so the third color is purple.
There you
So
go.
sky blue, yellow, and purple. Okay, now I'm going to, sorry about that. Let me go ahead and share my screen.
And I'll pop that on whenever we're ready here. So it should just take a second. The colors are very interesting.
Don't say anything yet. Don't tell me
Okay.
anything.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't.
That's that's all I'll say.
Be quiet. Okay, hold on. So I'm trying to, okay, there you go. So sky blue, and there is a feeling of movement here, and there's a feeling of a wave, and I'm going to do this wave in as organic a way as possible. This is going to be fairly abstract as I
Are we
use this blue. Can you see what I'm drawing?
No, not
no.
yet. Can you see if you can share the screen again? Down at the bottom. I know you had it closed at one point. We'll see if we can pop it back on here.
Oh, sorry about that.
Nope, no problem.
Okay, I've got application window.
Yep, and just select your drawing program and
Can you
hit
see it
share.
now?
I'm waiting to see if it'll pop up here. Nothing yet. That's weird.
Yeah, it
Well,
works before.
I can also do this on paper. And let me do it on paper
Okay.
because I came prepared.
Awesome.
Let me just move my stuff around. Oh, and I love the way that these colors are coming to me. Wow, they're really coming to me in a flood. I've just really got to quickly do this. And so understand that the blue is a wave of movement that that's very freeing. I'm not going to be able to show you this because I got to draw it, but I will do it very quickly. And the yellow is like the foam to this wave. And it also kind of stretches out like hair. It's flowing like hair, interestingly enough. And so I've got this blue wave and this yellow hair, and I also have to create some stars. Now the stars are really important. And there's 3 of them. This shows a connection between you and 2 very important people in your life. And the purple is going to be a basket weave, because your talents are the thing that is bringing you all together, that's keeping this motion going. And it's really important for you to realize that. And for the other 2 people that are associated with you to realize that this basket weave pattern is really important. And those are your skills, Ming, the skills that you have that these other 2 people don't necessarily have. And you really want them to appreciate you a little bit more, but I'm not going to go there because that might be a little bit too personal. And I'm going to do an energy orb in purple right here at the center of the drawing, because there's somebody in spirit who is approving of everything you're doing right now. And that person in spirit, you know who this person is, who is taking you by the hand and is letting you feel your purpose. Now it's coming little bit by little bit, but you're going to feel your purpose and it's going to become clear. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. Thank you for that. We live in such a time of vast uncertainty right now. So,
do you want to say what your question was?
I mean, so I don't sit still. I think Virginia knows that. I actually I travel a lot, and a lot of it was for work
So
and
do I.
using some of my skills. And of course, we're not able to do that right now. And I was wondering if if we'll ever be able to do that again. If I mean, I guess part of it was kind of, will life ever return to normal? But it was more specific to travel and adventures, and whether or not I'll be able to return to that and
Yeah.
see some very important people in my life, and that I haven't seen in over a year now, and um, that yeah. So the I think the colors in that drawing are very representative of that for sure.
Well, tell me about that.
Um, I mean, you mentioned blue and yellow. When I think blue, of course, I think of the sky and how much time I spent on airplanes. It was a lot, and
Yeah.
I imagine I probably spent more hours in the sky than on the ground at some points, even so. Um, and yellow to me represents the sun, which kind of meshes with the blue, much like foam in a wave in the ocean. Although the blue, I go to the coast as well, so actually I live by the shore right now.
Oh, do you? Yeah, and the blue wave was really important.
Yeah.
That felt nurturing. And when I did my first drawing, which I'm going to probably do more of, even though now I know the question, it was more of a wave than even this is. And I was going to do clouds, and I was like, I got to do the clouds. But then I took my blue pen just died on me.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, I'm moving right to the yellow. Oh my gosh, this yellow has got such great star power. And you understand the other two people, perhaps?
Yeah, for sure. Or yeah, yeah, for
Yep.
sure.
I have something for Ming too. Ming, do you have, I will not ask, do you, well, you have an ant that is close to you?
I've yeah,
An
I
ant, a particular one is very close to you.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm blessed with many friends and family in my life, but they're
Yes.
very strong presences, for sure. So
Yeah.
that's very reassuring. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
welcome. You're
Well,
welcome.
thank
And
you.
this is just a taste of what can be done. And some of these drawings get very intricate, and sometimes people appear and faces appear, spirit communicators. So it can get really intricate, but we're online. We're not in a one-on-one. When on a one-on-one, we can go a little bit more deep.
Yeah, for
Can
sure.
you hold up the picture and close
Oh,
it so everybody
well, it's
can
kind of hard to
see
see, I think,
it?
because
Let
of
me
the
see.
yellow. But and
There you
also my
go.
my
Mhm.
screen. I should probably take off my green screen thing. It's okay.
Thank you very
So,
much. Yeah.
Well,
so
thank you
yeah, it
for your deep
resonate to you, Ming. That is cool. That's cool. Well, thank you for doing that for him. That is awesome. That's good
Oh,
job.
yeah, my pleasure. I enjoy doing that so much, and I never know
Yeah.
what's going to happen. And I wish that my blue was better, because I saw a lot more blue in this picture than
Is
I.
that right?
Mhm.
Yeah, he used to travel a lot. Yeah.
Being
So
on
the blue
spot.
is the skies and the
Yeah.
water that he is working close
Mhm,
by the water there.
mhm,
That's
mhm.
pretty awesome. Yeah.
And
Well,
anybody can do this. Anybody can do this. Really, you sit with a friend, you think of a friend, you start drawing with them in mind, and interesting things will come up. Just let your hand be guided.
that's like that's what I said. Yeah, just let the hand be guided and let it flow. No pressure, no tension. Just let it be.
And you
Just
don't
let it be.
need a pendulum or anything really to choose. Let your
Mm.
body choose. Just clear your mind. What colors come up in your consciousness? Use those. You don't have to use a pendulum.
Usually, once I sat down on my chair at the table, drawing table with all my stuff around me, and I don't even like really look into the colors or stare at it. I just put my hand there and I go, just feel it. Feel
Mm.
the color of the energy, which one is talking to me. I just pick it up and put it right in front of me and let it be.
I love it.
Yeah, just let it be. Well, is there anything else you need to share with us that might
Well,
inspire many people out there? with their stress, their emotion, how can they tune into it to distress themselves to do
Well,
the art?
you just have to don't force anything. You just have to
Yeah.
really let things come when they can. And if
Hmm.
you are, say you're dreaming about something, and you feel free to inform your dream and let the dream inform you, but you can interact with it. And
Yeah.
let that, if you are dreaming about a scene that is so beautiful, enjoy it. And when you wake up, why not paint it?
Hmm.
Or write it down and write what would have happened had you continued to dream. Write a
Right.
poem, write a reaction to what you're experiencing.
Yeah.
Just create. Just, feel free to express yourself. When we just, keep it bottled up, and when we don't allow our subconscious or our shared consciousness, really that's what it is, our shared
Yeah. Yeah.
consciousness, to speak, we get sick, we get nervous, we get anxious. And
Anxiety.
right. So
Anxiety. Hmm.
I think that's the most important thing, is to follow your impulses, to create. And whether it's
That's
baking sourdough bread, or
right.
drawing,
Anything.
or knitting something, or doing collage, just do something every day, And
I'm like,
if you don't have these urges, go for a walk and pick up trash.
you
Create
know,
beauty in your environment. You can do it.
this is why I always keep myself like a busy bees and buzzing around and doing something. Be mindful. Be mindfulness.
Well,
Any
not
little bit.
being calm and quiet is also very important, because that's when you will get these urges. Sometime if you're too busy, you're going to miss some messages. So that's why I think it's important, especially at night when you're sleeping, or if you are awake at 2 a.m. and you can't sleep, just let your mind wander and get out of bed, write it down so you don't forget it. And then in the morning, create something with that. Use that.
That's what I do. Yep,
Mhm.
that's what I do. I wake up middle of the night and I start draw and let it be. You know. Yeah. Well, thank you again, girl. Really happy to have you on this podcast and share your knowledge with so many people around the world.
Oh, my
Um,
pleasure.
um, so you say this afternoon you have another show coming on with.
Well, I post it in the mornings typically.
Okay,
So it's on my podcast,
okay,
site on Anchor. If you go to Anchor FM, Melanie Alberts, or go to my website, melaniealbertsmedium.com. At the top of the website, you can click on Listen Now, and it'll take you to the site. I have a spirit guide medium conversation today, and next week it'll be about dreams, one of my
yay,
favorite subjects.
dreams. Like I was talking about number 16 and the whole so many 16 blocks of money.
Keep it in
That is
mind.
too
Who
funny.
knows?
I know, right? All right. Namaste. Thank you
Namaste.
again. We stay
Oh,
in
thank you.
touch. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.